just wanted to say that God of War 1's intro is pretty dark. So I just wanted to let people know before they watch. So for anyone that doesn't know, God of War is obviously a rated M video game, so there's going to be a lot of dark themes. And obviously the intro for God of War 1 is pretty deep. Pretty deep. I meant pretty dark. Anyways, by the way, can we just say this is peak? It's actually kind of sad.
Now there is no hope.
And Kratos cast himself from the highest mountain in all of Greece. After 10 years of suffering, 10 years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Death would be his escape from madness.
And that's the cinematic intro for God of War 1. Now, I'm going to be about this game in its entirety, or at least a very fat chunk of this game, because I have, like the thumbnail suggests, I have a strong love and I have a strong hate for God of War 1, and I'm going to be showing you guys like footage of gameplay throughout the video, so you guys know like throughout the 5 hours, so it's not just, you know, me going off in some bits and all that whatnot, so on and so forth. I'm going to talk about each of the weapons, so if you don't want to be spoiled mainly about this game, please do not watch this. Go play God of War 1 for yourself. And by the way, I have the HD collection for the PlayStation 3. That is how I'm playing God of War 1, so it's not like the PS2 experience, so it's not like the original experience of God of War 1. I mean, it's still the original game. It's just that, obviously, this is the HD collection, and, you know, there's some people, I know there's going to be somebody out there that's going to be thinking of this as like, hey, this isn't good enough type shit. But anyways, I wanted to talk about the gameplay, as you guys see in God of War 1. The gameplay is practically the same as obviously Chains of Olympus and other God of War games. Since early God of War games, especially since God of War 1 is the game that started it all, the hack and slash genre, you gotta admit, the hack and slash gameplay that God of War crafted back in 2000, I can't remember if it was 2005, I can't remember the year exactly, but just looking at the gameplay and how bloody everything is, using the Blades of Chaos to slay everything and slay everyone, the gameplay is freaking awesome. I love the hack and slash gameplay mixed with puzzles, platforming. I love it. You guys know I love the gameplay of God of War. Sometimes it can be annoying, other times it can be great. You know, it's just overall the gameplay for the most part when you're hacking and slashing and stuff. The platforming in this game we'll get to in a minute, but like the hack and slash gameplay by itself, beating up enemies with your Blades of Chaos and other weapons and abilities you get later throughout the game is perfect. I love that aspect of God of War 1. I love that aspect a lot. The platforming though, like there could be so many moments in this game where the platforming is just kind of hit or miss. And obviously since this is the studio who created God of War's first time really, and by the way, welcome to the stream, Lucas. Welcome to the stream, by the way. This is obviously the creator of God of War's like first time probably creating a game, slash creating like a game, the hack and slash game with some sort of platforming, and puzzle mixture. To be honest, because some of the platforming in this game, as you guys would know, there's not too many platforming sections, but when they do happen, it is just kind of okay, and at best, kind of average, if you're asking me, because obviously, if we're comparing God of War's platforming to Super Mario Brothers, it's kind of a little bit unfair, since God of War has more than just platforming. Platforming is just one aspect of God of War 1. But anyways, for anyone that wants to know the story of this game, this story is basically Kratos serving the gods, the Greek Olympian gods, the gods of Olympus, and he wants to kill Ares for giving him the Blades of Chaos, for, making him have the Blades of Chaos and making him slay his own family. To boil down the story in less than a minute or about a minute. That's practically like this entire game's journey. This entire game's premise is all around getting your revenge for your family, getting revenge on Ares, and which, to be honest, I thought this game was really good again at times, but there was also like so much bad stuff. Like, for example, like the first fight, with the boat captain and the giant serpent. This fight right here, which I'm going to show like a little bit of footage of, not too much of it. Also, I'm gonna have it on mute because there's a lot of like probably copyrighted music and a lot of other stuff like that. But I remember fighting the serpent, and I actually was like enjoying myself because this is God of War 1. This is where it started. So like, and obviously Chains of Olympus came like way after God of War 1. That was like technically the second God of War game I played. The first one was God of War Ascension because I thought it was first in the fucking timeline. But well, I mean, it is okay chronologically. But anyways, we're not gonna go there. I remember fighting the Sea Serpent, but I also remember like struggling so badly on the Sea Serpent, mainly because like I didn't know how to permanently kill it at first. Like, put the motherfucker down. And since obviously you have no magic, all you have to do is slay the motherfucker like over and over and over again to kind of get it through. And there is so much shit to this game, but the first section that I really, really disliked in this game, I'm going to have to be straight with y'all. It was this bit right here. So this bit right here with the arrows and all the dudes these dudes constantly shooting arrows. You have no way of fighting back. You have to bait the arrows over and over again. And also the box that you're moving, by the way, that helps you reach the ledge, do a little bit of platforming to reach the ledge to murk all those dudes up there. That box has like a 5-hit limit, and I remember like being in that section of God of War 1, and I was sitting there for a little bit. I was just kind of like, my dude, I don't think I really necessarily like this bit that much, because the other bit, like I said before this, was fine, but like this bit right here, I don't know if I really approved of this bit, like with the little bit. I know it wouldn't take somebody who has played this game multiple times or who's played God of War multiple times that long to figure out what to do. But for me, since it was my very first time playing God of War 1, because I never played it in my life prior to the period I bought it, and, I got it, right? And I started playing. So doing that section for the very first time was actually kind of not like mega painful to the point it ruined the whole experience, but like it was one of the first few moments of the game that I just straight up did not enjoy in God of War 1. So, and yeah, there's gonna be a lot of picking up, putting back down, because obviously I don't have a capture card, so I can't really like record my own footage like that. So, we're also going to be rewinding and skipping through a lot of footage, because a lot of the game is just gameplay, which is fair, not like cutscenes or anything. Also, doing this was cool. Doing that big-ass grab and shit. Grabbing your foes and ripping. Oh my god, some of it is pretty damn brutal. Climbing sections in this game, oh my god, Kratos goes so slow. I have to mention this. When he's on rope zip lines like this, it's pretty fast. But when Kratos is climbing in this game, that motherfucker goes slow as hell, dude. I'm talking, sometimes you have to double jump on a ladder or something like that to get up there faster than just manually climbing it. Because in my entire playthrough, I figured no way of quick climbing. Because keep this in mind, this game obviously came out before the idea of quick climbing objects, like quick climbing ladders, or having a faster way of doing it in video games, so you know what I mean? So like, you didn't have that whole thing of quick climbing up ladders or climbing up ledges, like a quick snap. So you had to do everything manually. I mean, there was some things that help climb you up faster, like for example, you press X in order to climb like bigger things than ladders faster, but to be honest, just double jump on the ladder and you'll be like almost up on the ladder immediately. But anyways, so like this part of the game where I had to go all around and shit, that was fine. Poseidon's Rage, I need to talk about this ability. So We're going to talk about each ability individually, too, as well. So, like, we're going to be here a fat fucking minute. I hope not, like, 17 freaking hours. But what I was going to say was Poseidon's ability, which I don't know why, but I remember playing God of War 1 and seeing Poseidon in God of War 3 in comparison to that. I don't know why he looks that much younger, has a completely different facial tone, skin, compared to what he looked like in God of War 1. It's kind of weird that they kind of changed their designs, like the Greek gods' designs in each of the games. Zeus was probably like the only one that I noticed so far that wasn't changed that much. Maybe when I review like God of War 2 sometime and God of War 3 and maybe Ghost of Sparta, I will see different changes, but anyways, until then. So, but back to what I was saying. My point is about Poseidon. Poseidon's Rage is the first ability that you get, and it is this lightning field ability that allows you to just transmission this electric shock all over the place, right? And honestly, I'm gonna be real. Poseidon's Rage, or Poseidon's Wrath, however you want to call it, is easily my favorite out of all the abilities I have ever gotten in God of War 1. And I know that may seem a little cheap because it's the first upgrade, it's the first, you know, new toy you get to play with in your arsenal. But in my opinion, I feel like it's the best. It's the best, like, it's multi-hitting too when you level it up more and more, because like obviously the more you level up, which only has 3 levels, the more range and the more damage it does and the more combos it racks up. Since when you're playing God of War, you know, the whole goal of the game is not only getting through the story, but the whole goal of it is to keep your combos going, because it's a combo-like game. People just think it's like a normal hack and slash. Nah, man, it's all about like the big combos. Like you got like, kind of like Devil May Cry on the PS2 as well. Like it was all about combos and mastering your abilities and weapons and playing with all your different toys. That's what this game's about. So playing with, you know, the Blades of Chaos, like doing like the square combo and then into Poseidon's Rage like I would do, or just straight up Poseidon's Rage with the more range, obviously with the increased levels. It was so fun, and since it's such an awesome multi-hit move, like everyone can't touch me. It's easily the best get the fuck off me option you probably have if you are in the range of those enemies, like if you're in the close vicinity, because it does start really small, but then as you get like level 2, gets more range, and then level 3 it has max range, and then also like it adds thunderbolts, like once you like press the circle button. It is so satisfying using Poseidon's Rage in God of War 1. I know I just had a little baby rant for like 3 minutes about Poseidon's Rage, but it is such, and I mean such, a good ability in this game. I love it. I love Poseidon's Rage. Poseidon's Rage, like I said, goated. Goated ability, Poseidon. Goated ability. But anyways, as I was saying, let's continue talking more about the story. Alright, so after you get that, there's also, like, you know, more boat captain shit and having to slay the beast, little dragons and shit. I'm just gonna skip right through this fight, because I remember, like, putting those monsters on a stick. That shit was rough to look at / watch, because, you know, obviously it's pretty damn bloody. But, and then we got some cutscenes, which I want to talk about God of War's cutscenes real quick. I know I'm not going to show it in full force because YouTube will demonetize this video, like, immediately and probably show this to nobody. But, I'm going to be honest, God of War's cutscenes in this game as well are fantastic. I don't care, because me as a gamer, I love old school graphics, I love new school graphics, I love old style CGI, I love new style CGI, like cutscenes and cutscenes. Well, not CGI cutscenes, but you get my point, like, where it's like render, you know, it's not using just the character model cutscenes. Like, even if it is just character model cutscenes, I love it. So just seeing God of War's, like, cutscenes, especially after playing, like, what, Spider-Man 3 for the PSP, and, like, going to that to this game, it looks like night and day. It looks phenomenal. It looks really, really good. The cutscenes, like I mentioned, of God of War look phenomenal. They look fantastic, right? And honestly, I was playing the game, as the game just kind of keeps going, I really just continued loving the game. And obviously the next ability, this also kind of messed me, well, not messed me up, but like the next ability in this game, which when you go up to the statue here, Aphrodite.
Pleased with your progress, but your current...
So basically, Aphrodite gives you the ability to, what is it? I think she just stops you, but then, like, later on, she gives you ability to use the gore. Yeah. If I remember correctly. Okay, let me talk about these things. Yeah, these Gorgons... fucking hate them. I hate Gorgons in this game. Early God of War 1 with the Gorgons, you guys have to understand, bro. You guys literally have to understand. If you played, you know what I'm talking about. And obviously, first-time players of God of War 1 will get this. But Gorgons, I would say, are easily some of the worst enemies for me to deal with in God of War 1. Mainly because of the early game. And later on, they're obviously become easier because I have more tools and more abilities at my disposal to play with. And what do I think of Medusa's little head-stopping thing that allows me to freeze enemies, but it also consumes a lot of magic? I thought that ability in my equipment was actually pretty damn good, but I didn't really use it, like, super often against enemies, even though I probably should have. But, you know, obviously you have to use in that little area to stop the Gorgon, so, you know, you can continue the game at this point. But for me, I remember, like, using it quite a few times, and I was liking it, but other than that, I was, that guy Biss, how you doing? Welcome to stream. Other than that, I didn't really use Medusa's head all that often against, like, my enemies. I always used Poseidon's Rage, you know, or just my Blades of Chaos, because I'm a simple dude that likes simple things. So, I mean, I'm not saying Medusa's, like, head mechanic was difficult or anything, but anyways, back to what I was saying about the Gorgons. The reason why I hate the Gorgons in God of War 1 so much. Did you beat Super Punch-Out, or did you give up? I beat Super Macho Man, but after Super Macho Man, I don't know, to me, like, Narcissus Prince, to me, just ultimately wasn't interesting. And plus, I also have, like, another playthrough of Super Punch-Out in its entirety in, like, 2 other videos, 2 other streams. But I was safe-stating a lot, but, which was, like, 4 or 5 months ago, and I was like, I don't know. Most of the niggas in the special circuit really don't interest me all that much, like, in comparison to, like, other Punch-Out games. But anyways, back to God of War. The Gorgons. The reason why they piss me off so much is because when they do their scream at you and when they turn you to stone, I swear to fuck, I am sitting here doing the whole, grab a PS3 controller, tell you, they want you to, like, rotate the stick, the moving stick, left and right like this, to get out of the Gorgon shit. But every single time I did it, and I don't know if it's a God of War HD issue on the PS3, or if I am just not flicking the stick enough, I could never mash out of the Gorgon's fucking scream shit. So every single time I would see a Gorgon bitch, I would literally start hating my experience of God of War 1, because they would always end up getting me with the scream. And obviously in this game you have no sort of, like, resistance to that bitch's screaming. So when she does a little at you, it's like game over for me. Game over, and it's like, God, I hate it here. I hate God of War 1. It sucks. This game sucks. I hate it here. No, I have never... I have been to Comic-Con. Actually, yes, I have been to Comic-Con and maybe, like, some mini-cons that were like that, but I never, like, dressed up, or I never, like, recorded or showed the experience off. But anyways, that's why I hate Gorgons. Gorgons just fucking suck in this game. God of War 1's Gorgons suck so much dick. I hate them. I do not like them. Fucking hated them. Hated them so much. Also, the climbing sections in God of War 1 where you get to use your Blades of Chaos for short range, long range attacks, like long range swipes, downward swipes, upward swipes. That shit is cool. Kind of reminds me of Castlevania with the sideways slashes, because if you guys remember the whip from Castlevania, you know. Yeah, okay. No? Okay, but anyways, and I'm also going to skip a lot of bits. Also, the rope segments as well, like when you're on a rope and there's also enemies like coming after you on the rope, trying to hit you with their swords, and you're able to kick them. You know, you're like, look at this. Okay, so you're on a rope, right? Like I said, you're on a rope clinging, and you see enemies, and they're also like this on the rope, also like and they're slashing you and shit, and it's so cool because you get to pull one of your blades of chaos out, holding the rope with one hand, and you get to slash like all of them like this, like for a long range for multiple enemies, and then for short range, Kratos will literally use his whole feet, his whole legs, and just kick motherfuckers off the thing. It's so cool seeing Kratos kick motherfuckers off a rope. Like, I swear to God, it's cool. That's another cool thing. Also, to me, everyone knows this, but God of War puzzles, or just puzzles in general, I am not a big fan of. And it's even worse. And obviously, you guys know, like, God of War puzzles, because if you remember my God of War Ascension video, that's the whole reason why I quit that fucking game, was the puzzles in that one were shit. You know, so that's why Ascension sucks, but we won't get into that. But God of War 1's puzzles, even if they were easier to do and easier to kind of get through, some of them actually were, like, pissing me off to the point I was kind of just sitting there like, I really dread what I'm doing here, / I don't know why, but even just looking it up on the internet sometimes wasn't helping. I had to have, like, my brother Louie come and help me sometimes, because to me, puzzles are not fun. I don't like using my brain in a way of, like, puzzles. It doesn't matter what type of puzzle is it. It can be a fucking maze. If it ain't a fucking Pac-Man maze, I'm not going to be enjoying that, like, little maze bullshit. Or a puzzle where you have to put pieces together. It doesn't matter. Or just, like, a puzzle where you have to bring everything and all that other sort of stuff. In my opinion, I feel like puzzles, especially, like, in this game, just kind of waste my time. Like, I feel like they're just not necessary. And I mean, I get it, they want to, like, progress you with game time, but in my opinion, with these puzzles, I just don't like them. I really, really strongly do not like them. And like I said, the whole point of this game is to get through, not every god, but, like, to, you know, all this is for Ares, so keep that in mind, right? And there's so many sections of this game where you're just going around slashing up enemies, which is why I'm not really, like, kind of talking about, because I already talked about the combat in this game, which can range from being really good to really bad. And also, like, early on, like, a lot of big enemies, like, large enemies in certain areas of the game, they are pretty damn annoying to, like, kind of fight. Because, especially when they get in groups, mainly because, like, you don't have as many toys to play with. Obviously, since you don't have a lot of toys to play with other than Blades of Chaos, Poseidon shit, and then, obviously, Medusa's head, aka the freaking Scream move, which you can freeze them, but it takes a minute to freeze, like, the bigger enemies, or just enemies in general, so I don't know why. It takes, like, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, because, you know, Medusa's head is, like, level 1, so it takes, like, a fat minute just to freeze one enemy, but there's two big dudes. It's like you can't freeze both of them at the same time unless you get them perfectly lined up, and they're, like, synced with one another with what they're doing, even though I feel like, to me, every time I try using Medusa's head, it wouldn't work. So I just kind of run away and range with Blades of Chaos. Or if I have enough magic, I'll use Poseidon's Rage to kind of get through it. Because this is for, you know, I had other abilities and whatnot, so on and so forth. So keep that shit in mind. And yes, I know I'm talking a lot, but this is just how God of War is. And, oh, I'm trying to find, like, another bit. Oh, yeah. And this was, like, another ability I want to talk about, so let's talk about it here.
It's almost time to
Kratos' next ability is an ad. Gotta love that. So, this ability right here is Zeus, right? Which you get, like, eons into the game. Like, I'm already 24 minutes on my stream, but it's like an hour 30 on the dude's video. I remember getting Zeus is Thunderbolt. This is Zeus. So, Zeus's power-up in this game is Zeus's Thunderbolt. And basically, it allows Kratos to have a ranged weapon. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, fighting ranged fuckers with the arrows, like these undead fuckers with arrows and stuff, them constantly shooting you, and you have no ranged weapon to get them at a really far range, like across a ledge or across a broken, destroyed tomb or building. It was so annoying. I remember going through God of War 1 a little bit for however long a time I took, which was probably 3 hours in my playthrough compared to his 1 hour, where those enemies would be shooting you, and I'm like, I don't have anything I could stop you with, but getting Zeus's Thunderbolt allows Kratos to conduct lightning in his fucking hand and throw it. It doesn't do too much damage to enemies, but it's great for long range, because you can just throw multiple of them, and it doesn't waste too much magic, which I love when weak, long-ranged items don't cost so much magic, because I'm used to, any type of projectile shit wasting a lot of magic. Obviously, I mean, if it isn't like Smash Bros. Or you know, some type of game I'm playing. Because I remember I used to play Diablo back in the day, Diablo 3, way back in the day. And I remember like having my magic range attacks, and they would cost like half my magic. So seeing Zeus's Thunderbolt in this game not cost you that much magic was actually phenomenal. And this actually helps a lot throughout the game. Especially later bits where there's a lot more range, like between them and you just throw Zeus's Thunderbolt like but it kind of sucks a little bit because it always takes like 2, 3, maybe 4 Zeus bolts, and then later in the game when you're using it, it takes a little bit more Zeus bolts to kind of like take out one enemy. Like I remember it would take out like 1 or 2 early on in that same area you're in, but if you don't level it up, that shit will take like more hits. It'll take like 4 or 5 hits to kill, and it'll just blow up in your face, dude. I'm telling you, it blow up in your face when you use Zeus's abilities. Another puzzle that I really disliked in this game, I remember, was probably around this area of the game. Because I remember for like over 30 minutes, I was confused on the pillars you just witnessed right here. Then you had to stack them, you jump on top of there because you also have to save another god in this bit of the game. I remember I actually streamed this bit of the game in one of my vlogs. I just remember not liking this part because I was confused on it a little bit. And also this time segment where you have to save that or make it to that chicken time. And then all the times, of all times, they put like a time shit right there where you have to make it to her before she falls off, which I was just like, a timed event. I love timed events in my video games. Woohoo, I love them a lot. Another thing is, God of War 1, oh my god, dude. So many cutscenes of this game was explaining Kratos' backstory. Do not get me wrong. Thank God they just put it throughout the game. I felt like it was smart of the developers to do that. Because what a lot of developers do nowadays, I've noticed when they have a character's backstory or whatever the fact, they always shoehorned everything in the beginning or somewhere in the middle or somewhere in the end or just in a booklet somewhere in the game. I love a God of War's 1 approach of how they handle Kratos' backstory. Like, they gave you small intervals throughout the game to kind of remind you, like, what the goal Kratos is actually doing is. Like, why is he wanting to kill Ares? / what happened to Kratos before he got the look he does now, etc., etc. I do love cutscenes like that, but sometimes they go on a little bit long, and I'm just kind of like, depending on the mood I'm in, I'm like, most times, like, the mood when I'm watching those cutscenes is like, alright, I'm understanding Kratos, I appreciate this information. Then there was like 1 or maybe 2 times I was frustrated, and that shit came on, and I was just sitting there like, you gonna end? But obviously that wasn't me like the whole playthrough when listening to Kratos' stories, his backstory, like I said, and everything, etc., etc., etc. Stuff like that. But man, leveling up your stuff. God damn it, there are so many ads. I hate it sometimes. A little bit, because it just pisses me off. Like how many ads there are on people's videos sometimes. But, yeah, let me find another bit I want to, like, that I find awesome to talk about, slash, not really. This bit with the sand shit, let me see if this is the right sand bit I'm talking about. So, to get into this sand temple, I thought this was one of the most interesting parts of the entire experience to me. The Desert of Lost Souls, right? So when you enter the Desert of Lost Souls, you talk to Athena, bitch ass, you know, just sitting there, like, she gives you dialogue. This is one of the coolest things to me, because if you guys don't remember, I'm gonna put it on for you guys. This shit really reminds me of Majora's Mask, slash, either Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time, when you were actually in the desert as Link, and, you know, you were using that lost soul, that, I don't know, something individual to save yourself, to or not save yourself, to find the right path, to find the right way. So when I made it to this part in my playthrough, I was like, yo, this is reminding me of Ocarina of Time. These motherfuckers not only have platform sections, but I think they are I think that they're referencing Zelda in here. Because I do remember, like, Darksiders also loves the design, the dungeon design of Zelda so much that they kind of do base their dungeons off of Zelda in Dark Souls. But I think God of War, I genuinely believe, when I made it to this section, I genuinely believe that they are referencing Ocarina of Time's desert moment. And I know it's different because Kratos has to find 3 siren bitches that are just screaming in the desert, and you gotta find 3 of those to open the temple door and get into this later bit. But for me, I just really thought that was such a cool little thing that I wanted to talk about, because I actually enjoyed this bit of the game. Even though they could take a minute for you to find, it won't take you like all of infinity like other people think it would take. Because, I'm gonna be honest, even I thought I was gonna take all of infinity on this, because usually, like I said, in bits like this, I'm trash at, but like somehow I managed to do like a pretty decent job at fighting these things. Oh my god, Kratos using that horn right there. In-game cutscene to kind of blow away, and you see Kronos for the first time, which is kind of cool. Even though we saw Kronos, like, you know, in Chains of Olympus before this, because we played Chains of Olympus before, but don't want to deny the story. And then there's old man talking, and Kratos talking about how this place is bad. You know, this place is hard. There's a lot of big enemies. I remember this desert temple / area. This place was a little annoying to me, mainly because of how long of part of the game. I know that did not make much sense, and my English is pretty bad, but damn was this bit annoying. Artemis. I can't remember what Artemis gives you, but I think she gives you like an upgrade or some type of thing. Oh yeah, she gives you the blade. This blade. Hold on, the blade. Let me show you what the blade looks like. Welcome to stream, Brendan. Let me show you this blade. Obviously, it's not the Blades of Chaos right there, because that's from Ares, but let me show you this. This blade. That blade, the Blade of Artemis. I love the Blade of Artemis, because basically what happens is when Kratos uses the Blade of Artemis, he like his Blades of Chaos go away, and basically you are left, well, not left, but I don't know my pants. Anyways, like I said, you're left with the Blade of Artemis. And you're sitting there, like, Kratos is in this stance, looking kind of cool. Kind of reminded me of, you know, like, every sword wielder fucking ever in history. Kind of holding their blade like that. Like, kind of like some anime protagonists, like Ichigo, and Guts sometimes has hold his blade like this. There's a lot of characters who hold their blades like this, not just anime. But it was just really cool seeing Kratos have his, like, sword like that, kind of carrying it like that and shit, walking around. Running around. The Blade of Artemis is fun. Getting to, like, use the sword and go zing, zing, zing. Because when you use the Blades of Chaos, they're obviously, like, your ranged blades. It feels like you're using swords, but it kind of feels like you're more of just using, like kind of like a blade with something on it, right? That's what it feels like to me when you're using the Blades of Chaos. Not that they're bad weapons, of course. They're great weapons. But, like I said, the the Blade of Artemis, this shit is cold. I love just swinging around a sword, a big old sword. It's not like that big, but it's still pretty big. Just going whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And just, I don't know, just having so much fun and having, like, pressing R1 square, do this fucking spinny move. Which you also do with the Blades of Chaos, the double weapon spin, like, you guys know the iconic, like, cradle spin like that. Not like Link, where he goes, like, to hell. You know, like that. But Kratos does it, like, kind of like a vertical type way. But anyways, I digress. Let's move on. My bad. I was kind of talking about the blades for a little bit too long. In my honest opinion. Oh, okay. Let me talk about this room right here. I think it was this room. Yeah, check it out. No, not this room. Hold on. There was another bit that I'm trying to remember. Okay. Anyway, so going around in this area, / just this, like I said, this place in general was annoying due to, like, this bit and, like, some other future bits that also really annoyed me and bugged me and made me feel the wrong way. And also, finding stuff in this game as well is kind of annoying without, like, looking it up or using some type of save state. Or not save state. I meant, like some type of guide. That's what I meant. Like, figuring some of this stuff out is very fucking annoying. And also, traversing through the same areas. I want to mention this because God of War does do this. And I want you guys to keep this in mind when you guys play God of War 1 eventually or sometime on your own time or whatever. You traverse... excuse me, you traverse the same areas over and over and over again. That was another big annoyance I had with God of War 1, in my opinion, was going through the same fucking areas over and over again to find some type of item because you missed it. Well, not missed an item, but more like there's an item you need to find and it requires you to go back to a certain area or go to a new area, then back again to that area you went to previously. And let me tell you, doing this so many times in God of War 1 bugged me so much. I remember, like, I was talking to Louis sometimes, not at night, but I was talking to Louis about some of these moments, some of these instances. And I remember they would bug me so fucking much. Man, I'm not kidding when I say they bug me. Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar is so fucking good. I'm sorry. God. That's all you drink in the morning. SRG Vega. And also the anger that I have in this game. I don't know you heard that I was about to save the progress and they cut out the energy. I got rid. Oh my god. You were playing God of War on a hard bit and they cut the power and you couldn't save your game in time? Fuck! That sucked. Dude, oh god, that reminds me of a bit that's coming up that happened literally yesterday when I was playing God of War. My god, dude, before I make this review. But anyways, let's get on and talk about a little bit more of this. Since, again, traversing the same areas can be bad, but at the same time, it's pretty fun. The GOAT. Hey, Draco. Or Draco, welcome. Welcome back, man. I haven't seen you in a minute. There are more bits. I want to, like, show off some of these other bits. I was about to beat the game in Chronos. Are you serious? Well, because Chronos isn't, like, the last area of God of War 1, but I think you're talking about a different God of War game. Thanks, mate. It's been a minute. Hey, yeah, it has been a minute. Well, let me talk about this other bit. Okay. So there is this bit with you going underwater in Poseidon's chambers, right? The swimming mechanics in this game are great. They're fine. There's not really too much of an issue. But easily one of the worst segments in this entire game for me was easily in this bit. Hold on, I gotta fucking find it. Okay. So you are in this, like, two-dimensional, like, plane area existence. Look, I'll show you. This shit right here. I want to show you this, how bad this is, okay? The guy in the video is fine, right? So basically, the reason why I say this is bad, you have to swim down, and basically there is this giant-ass freaking big old freaking wall thing, right? That passes through the screen like this. But man, they could have at least told me that they would do that until I wouldn't. I mean, I get that, dude. I would be angry too. I'd be furious, actually, if that happened to me. So your rage is completely justifiable, brother. But this bit sucked. Now, obviously, for seasoned God of War 1 players, this obviously doesn't affect them that much, but it affected me a lot. Because I remember I was here for 30 minutes. I wanted to fucking slam the chair leg. It was nighttime. I just wanted to scream so loud because this section, I was stuck on this little bit in God of War 1 with this sliding door shit that you have to constantly swim against so it doesn't catch up to you. Because when that wall I was talking about catches up to you, you're immediately dead. You can't get out of it. You can't wiggle out of it. You can't wiggle down to safety. None of that. You have to super swim, like I'm going to show you right now, to those mini little crevices in the ground to avoid that giant ass wall. And I was dying on this bit over and over and over again because I just could not get it. I literally could not get it. It was so bad. I remember how bad this was for me. But like I said, this guy's going to get it. See that giant wall? That's the giant wall I'm talking about. And sometimes you can wait for 2 or 3 to make it easier or something like that. But even then, look at it. It's right behind Kratos right there. And you have to do that same swimming bit more than 2 to 3 times. Don't try to regular swim this. Just use the swimming boost shit. And I'm telling you, you would be able to pass that bit up better than I ever did. I remember that little bit was so fucking awful for me. And then there was also another bit in Poseidon's doors and everything. I remember I disliked, especially moving those floors wasn't that bad in God of War 1. Hades' challenges for the most part weren't bad, at least in my opinion. I didn't think a lot of it was bad, but finding some keys and other shit like the necklace was pretty bad. Some platforming segments that get a little tough was scary. One of the worst things, one of the hardest things, and one of the more annoying things was this boss. I'm skipping this ad. This boss right here. But the way you raged in God of War, I also raged at the cube in God of War 3 that I needed to kill the enemies before the spikes come out. When I die, I start over again, but I finally passed the level. Oh, and God of War 3, oh my god, I'm not there yet. I'm going to stream that entire game, by the way, when I get to God of War 3, because it's on PlayStation 5. And I bought the game, so like I have God of War 3 on my PlayStation 5 right now, that I'm using right now to get footage and shit. So you guys will be seeing me go through that entire game when we get there. Because right now, I just beat God of War 1. So now I need to go play God of War 2 on the HD collection. And then I'll hop over here and then play God of War 3. And then be off camera again because Ghost of Sparta. And then God of War 4, continue 4. And then do Ragnarok. But anyways, this boss sucked, mainly because I had no idea how to actually do physical damage to its armor. I remember I was stunning it so much, but then I had to look up a video guide because apparently the whole arena wasn't shown. I thought that door to back behind him was like the limit of the arena. There was nothing back here, so I just had to hit the motherfucker until this health bar went down, right? But I didn't know that you had to go all the way back here. Like, jump off, you get him at the ending, you press circle to make the fucker stand up, then you go all the way back of the arena, you shoot him with an arrow to make his armor break even more, and then you do damage, and then you use the arrow one last time to murk him. I had no idea that's what you had to do on this boss. No one was telling me. I had to look it up. I remember, I think Louis was even helping me out. Also, Hades looks completely different in this game. I'm not even going to hold. Hades' actual face looks completely different. By the way, his ability, if you guys want to know, Hades' ability is to give you the ability to control souls. So, basically, you have these 3 little souls. And what these 3 little souls do, is they track your enemy down, and they cause damage, like by looping around them, help you get your combo starter going, and whatnot, so on and so forth. And then the more you upgrade Hades' soul ability, the more powerful the souls get. So meaning like the souls are gonna do more they're gonna do more damage. So your combo's gonna be racked up higher and higher. And you know the range of Hades' souls is also really good. But I wouldn't recommend using it too much because that uses a lot of your fucking magic. Using one like Hades souls technique, excuse me, slash ability, like wastes like. I remember when my magic meter was not filled all the way, and it took like about half or a little bit less than half of your shit. And obviously, when you get like max magic slash magic, your max magic. Okay, when you get max magic, obviously taking about more than half isn't going to be that bad. But when you first get it and then use it, my God, when it took over half my shit, I was like, what the fuck? You know, a little bit. But the move is very OP. It's definitely worth using at least once if you're really in a pickle. But I would still recommend using Poseidon's Rage for that. But I would, again, if you're trying to rack up quick damage really quickly, Hades Souls is like perfect. It's like one of the best moves, I think, in the game. Especially to help you combo with your Blades of Chaos combos, like getting all them good red orbs. Because you guys got to remember, this game isn't about just getting through it. It's about collecting as many red orbs as you can from the enemies you are battling. So, for example, when you battle like a group, it's good to get a group and then use the Hades abilities or whatever you have to rack up like 50 hits. Because if you get 50 hits, like 20 hits, you get times 2 red orb. And then if you get times 70, 80, you get 4 times red orb. And the more you keep going, the more you keep slaying and slashing and keeping that combo going, the more red orbs. Because this game, also another thing I do want to mention is this game is expensive with upgrades to your abilities. Oh my God, I thought Chains of Olympus was expensive. This game takes it to a whole nother fucking level with how expensive some of your shit is. I could have Poseidon's Rage at level 2 and it costs like, oh yeah, you need 4,000 red orbs to 5, 6, 7, 8,000 to get it to max level, buddy. And then don't even get me started with the Blade of Artemis. That shit was ridiculous. I had it at level 2 and level 3, bro. I'm telling you, level 3 for Athena's Blade was 10,000 red orbs, bro. I was sitting there like, what the fuck? On the red orb increase, it was ridiculous. It was fucking trash. I didn't like it all that much. I didn't like it all that much. But, anyways. Let's talk, welcome Bojack on the stream. Here, let me talk more about this game, because obviously, you know, like, once you get to a later bit, you know, yeah, I'm gonna show you guys this. Oh, I didn't mean to save a highlight. You know, Kronos, you know, they talk about Kronos, and, this was also another bit I hated in the game. Here, let me get it on. Let me get it on real quick. This feels like an old school my experience where I wouldn't have everything prepped up. But I remember trying to get this is the bit in the game where you're trying to get the necklaces. Oh my God, getting these necklaces is so fucking bad. But I do want to specifically talk about this bit. I think any God of War 1 player will remember getting this brick to the other side, jumping off of it, double jumping off of it, onto a ledge was easily one of the most annoying bits in God of War 1, because this is a timed event, and you have a strict timer. If you do not get that crate over to the other side and jump off of it, you will immediately die due to these spikes popping up. Oh my motherfucking God. I hated this so fucking much. I hated this so much. I despised this shit. I hated this section so much. And sure, the section is very small and very brief in this entire fucking bundle slash package of a goddamn game, but you cannot tell me. I subscribe to you. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. But I cannot stress this bit enough. I hated this shit. I hated it so fucking much during my playthrough. It was so fucking bad. Ugh. I hated this. And then other bits of the game, like I hated, but nowhere near as much. But the backtracking, obviously I mentioned that already, so that's what I kind of hate. And obviously there was like other bits, but I'm not gonna lie, the rest of this wasn't that bad. Until we reach this bit.
And Kratos fell into the underworld, the river Styx beckoning below, the currents strong enough to carry even the strongest mortal to his eternal resting place. But Kratos had no intention of resting yet. He intended to live, to return to Earth and complete his quest.
Let go, fool! You won't drag me down to that cursed river! There is a task set for me above. I must complete it. You again? Go!
That was brutal, Kratos. That poor boatsman. Everyone knows this section of God of War 1. The Path of Hades. This shit sucked. I made it to this bit yesterday. Literally yesterday. Yesterday. After all my shorts, after everything was uploaded yesterday, I played God of War, you know, throughout the afternoon yesterday for me. And the Path of Hades is easily the worst part for me in this game because I raged so badly in the Path of Hades. I'm going to show you why. So obviously the platforming was pretty bad. Murking the enemies wasn't bad. Right? That wasn't the bad part. This is one of the bad parts where you have to go on these spinning blades and constantly like double jump to keep your balance, to keep all that shit going, right? This part sucked. And by the way, those blades on those little pillar platforms, they get faster and faster the more you progress through the Path of Hades. Right? But this wasn't what I fucking raged about most, right? This shit. Climbing this tower, 2 of these towers back to back, or 2 to 3 towers of these spinning blades, is what made me rage out. I'm not even gonna hold. I raged so bad this shit happened. Let me show you what happened. I got to the tippy top of one of the last pillars that had a save point right there on the right or on the left. And I remember I was up there. I said, yes, I see the save. I see the save. I got hit with the blade and went all the way back down. Because when you get hit by one blade, it doesn't matter what type of blade, it doesn't matter how high you are. If you get hit by a blade on these spiked pillars, you fall all the way back down. You don't fall a little bit back down, you fall all the way back down. And I remember, I was on this bit for not even 40 minutes. Not even 40 minutes, because I remember Chris was with me. And I raged so hard that this shit happened. I'm going to go out and I'm going to show y'all, because I know it's in the trash right now as we speak. I'm going to mute the mic because there's stuff outside my room, and also I'm going to cover the camera. So. So underneath all this trash, right, that I did, I completely, and I mean completely destroyed Assassin's Creed. I went in there and I broke the shit out of, I snapped another disc, y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I snapped another disc. I know. A lot of you guys already tell me. I know. I get it. I broke another one, right? I broke another disc. When NYT was on mic, he knew. He knew that shit was coming. Ronnie knew. Ronnie knew. He knew as soon as I got to this spike pillar section / the Hades bit, I was going to flip my shit. Because keep in mind, I have never dealt with this before. I didn't know what PS2 players were going through when they went through the path of Hades. So this is my very first time playing, and that's what happened. And I was actually going to quit the game at this point. I was going to be like, I broke, because I wasn't playing Assassin's Creed 1. I actually did not like Assassin's Creed 1 all that much. I actually disliked it a lot, surprisingly, because I thought I was going to like that game when I bought it, but no. Instead of taking my wrath on God of War 1 with God of War 2 on there, and God of War 1 on there, I decided to break my other game, my other PS3 game, Assassin's Creed 1, because I wasn't playing it, I didn't care for it, whatever. I don't care. But I did care about this, because obviously if I broke this, I wouldn't be able to play God of War 2, and I'd have to probably try to buy another copy, and it wouldn't be worth it. So, I raged so bad there that I broke my Assassin's Creed. I snapped another disc. I know people are going to be disappointed, but for anyone that wants to know, yesterday I got so mad I snapped the disc, and I also cut my finger, my middle finger. As you can see right there, I cut my middle finger. That shit was gushing a little bit. And I snapped that disc in pieces. It was gone. But I remember after I ate food, because before this point we didn't have a whole lot of food. Now we do. I didn't eat all day. And that's probably why I reacted the way I did, because I didn't eat anything. And usually, you know, when some people don't eat, you know, they react different. They're easy to anger or something like that. They don't have anything in their stomach or whatever. So, since I didn't eat all day yesterday when I was doing this, that's probably why my whole ass rage / aggression came out, because this bit was annoying / really difficult. I hated it. Didn't want to deal with it again. So originally I was going to quit, but I told myself, after explaining to Louis like what happened later, I got back on hours later, by the way. This was hours upon hours later yesterday, going into last night. Alright, come on over. Just like this guy right here in the video. This shit happened, right? I not only figured out how each of the blades move and turn and all that stuff, but I managed to figure it out in so little time that this shit, both pillars, both of them, both pillars, and even the shit after this, both pillars were no challenge to me whatsoever, or almost zero to no challenge, because I did it in my first try, my first or second try when I got back on. And I honestly thought, I was like, wow, all I really needed for that moment was a little bit of food in my stomach, a little bit of food, some hours to calm down, come back, and redo it again. Kind of wish I did that in Sonic Unleashed Wii, but hey, I'll probably get the game again some other time in the future. But after that, you know, we have a little bit more path than Hades, which obviously I beat all of it. Got out of there, went back to the Blades of Athena, you know, and this shit happens. Obviously, after that, and going through, again, this city that Ares was effing over, whatever, being a stupid god that he is. You know, we watch a cutscene, which I might just show the entire thing, to be honest, like Kratos getting there. Anyways, here.
Escaped Hades itself. There was but one task left.
Zeus, do you see now what your son can do? You cast your favor on Athena, but her city lies in ruins before me. And now, even Pandora's box is mine. Would you have me use it against Olympus itself? Kratos, returned even from the underworld. Is this the best you can do, Father? You send a broken mortal to defeat me, the god of war?
After thousands of years, Pandora's box was finally opened. The power of the gods unleashed.
You are still just a mortal. Every bit as weak as the day you begged me to save your
This shit went raw.
I am am not the same man you found that day. The monster you've created has returned to kill you. You have no idea what a true monster is, Kratos. Your final lesson is at hand. Prepare to join your family, Spartan.
And I'm telling you, once you use the, like I said, the Souls of Hades, that will do so much damage to him, it's not even funny. And I'm not gonna lie, Kratos becoming giant and being able to fight, you know, he's at his size, because Ares was actually that big. He was never like a small god. It's actually a huge spider humanoid god of war. But anyways, after like a bit of this fight here, this shit happens. This was one of the hardest bits of the game for me because of how much I had to do. And you're going to see why here in a second.
The nightmares that had haunted Kratos for the past 10 years had now taken form and substance. His past stood before him.
Kratos! What's happening? Where are we?
By the gods, can this be real?
Look at how many Kratos doppelgangers there are, guys.
Ares, there is nothing you can put in my way to stop me. I will save my family.
And basically, for like more than a minute, you have to protect Kratos' family. And obviously, you guys know me, I hate stuff like this. This is another thing I really dislike in gaming, is when you have to protect someone, and if they take too much damage, you fail the whole thing and have to redo it all over again. Now, since I had like the Blades of Chaos, for the most part, this type of shit was easy. But like, well, not easy, but like, you know, there were times where I had to use like Poseidon's Rage to get them off and give help to the family if they lost too much, which also was the upside of this. But like, just fighting so many different doppelganger Kratoses, dude, after a while this whole thing's breaking behind you and shit. This shit got tough at points, bro, and it goes on for a fat fucking minute, dude. My fingers were hurting, bro. My fingers were hurting, bro, mashing the square button, triangle, performing combos. Poseidon's Rage every now and again. God, it hurt. But it was worth it to pass this bit up. And obviously, if you want to hit the little Kratos on that edge, you use Zeus's Thunderbolt. But I wouldn't worry about him too much, to be honest. He doesn't really do shit too much. Also, I love how you can just pick him up, throw him. That's great, too.
Please, take us home!
Do you see, God of War? You took them once, but you'll never have them again. You cannot. We did everything we were supposed to.
Fucking ad, dude.
Save them, Kratos. You gave them up in your quest for ultimate power. There is a price to pay for everything you gain. Not that price. I didn't want them to die. No price is too high for what I offered. And you rejected me.
Dude, hearing Kratos saying not again like that, I remember when I first heard that, that shit hurt listening to that, dude. That shit hurt me.
When you made Kratos, you should have been stronger. By the gods.
The battle was not over. The gods, it seemed, had a final gift for Kratos.
I still have allies in Olympus, Ares. Now, you will see how strong I am.
I also love this bit because they made it go off, dude. This shit was difficult. I don't know what blade this was, but Kratos using this blade to conquer Ares is badass. Who doesn't love their giant battles, dude? Now, obviously, you have to wait till Ares does his move since he already kind of died.
Remember, Kratos, it was I who saved you in your time of greatest need. I haven't forgotten, Ares. I remember how you saved me that night. I was trying to make you a great warrior. You succeeded.
Seeing Ares finally dead, in my honest opinion,
Kratos.
I'm gonna be honest, like, I've always thought this. Bro, I don't know why Ares really just went up and decided, hey, you know what? I want to make Kratos the ultimate warrior, right? So why don't I just murk what he loves most to make him the ultimate warrior, bro? And sure, he succeeded in making the ultimate warrior, because that's what Kratos just said, but to me, I felt like... I don't know. Lord Drakon Shemto, member for 4 months. Hey, thank you, Lord Drakon, for being a member for 4 months. Appreciate you, man. Poor Kratos, I love it, Alex. Hey, I appreciate you loving the stream, man. But, let me... Cool stream, thank you. But, I don't know, what bothered me is that this man really said, let's have Kratos murk his own family by his own hand. And not... And I don't know why, but Ares really started something as soon as he did that, dude. And I'm just saying, dude, Ares is a fucking idiot for doing that. Because you can be a great warrior while having a family, dude. To be honest, having a family and being a warrior at the same time, that shit makes you stronger, because fighting for your family is what gives a lot of people the ultimate edge in a lot of scenarios, bro. Like, for example, like a boxing sometimes, like, boxers, I know popular boxers, Douglas, when he beat, what's his name, Mike Tyson, by just thinking about his mama, thinking about, I'm gonna do this for my mama, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this for my mom, my family. That gave him the edge in that fight, I feel like if Ares actually understood that, you know what I mean? I felt like Kratos probably would have never went on this fucking streak of murking niggas if it wasn't, for his family dying. Like, I'd be straight. Maya, hi man, how are you? I'm doing phenomenal, Maya. I'm just finishing up here talking about God of War 1. My experience with, like, God of War 1. But anyways, we're not done yet, folks.
Had done the impossible. A mortal defeating a god.
I was so happy when defeating Ares, because I felt done with God of War 1 after defeating Ares. By the way, thank you guys for the 5 likes.
The city had been saved and would thrive again. The same could not be said for Kratos, for as he sought to rebuild his soul with the help of the gods, the truth was revealed to him.
Athena, rid me of the memories that haunt me still.
You have done well, Kratos. Though we mourn the death of our brother, the gods are indebted to you. We promised your sins would be forgiven, and so they are. But we never promised to take away your nightmares. No man, no god could ever forget the terrible deeds you have done.
In the end, knowing the visions of his past would never leave him, Kratos made his way to the bluffs overlooking the Aegean Sea.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me.
Athena, since she is a god, since all gods are like related in some way, yes, technically Athena is related to, I think she was like a god. I can't remember what Athena was the god of, but most gods are practically like relatives to each other. So like, pretty much, she's like probably a nephew or something. But anyways, let's continue this. And you guys remember the beginning of this video.
Now there is no hope.
The gods have abandoned me.
Cast himself from the highest mountain in all of Greece. After 10 years of suffering, 10 years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Death would be his escape from madness. The fate of Kratos.
She's god of wisdom.
The gods had other plans. Borne aloft like a feather, Kratos found himself risen from the sea and placed on solid earth.
You will not die this day, Kratos. The gods cannot allow one who has performed such service to perish by his own hand. Ares' tactics were brutal. His path of destruction had to be stopped. But now there is an empty throne in Olympus, and a new god of war is needed. Take these stairs, Kratos. They lead to your ultimate reward.
The Blades of Athena. So, if you guys don't know what the Blades of Athena are, they're just like the Blades of Chaos. But, they're just gold, practically. They're just gold. They're yellow gold. They symbolize that, yes, you've beaten the game at least once. I think that's what they practically are. And obviously the dude in the playthrough. But this is one of the most iconic moments of all time, that throne. If you played God of War 2, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that this throne room is pretty iconic. Yep, your once defeated foe. I think that's supposed to be just a big old monster, and then you have Ares. You're finally free of your servitude to this insane war god. And then you sit on the throne like a fucking pimp.
And from that point forward, throughout the rest of time, whenever men rode forth to battle for good cause or for evil, they did so under the watchful eye of the man who had defeated a god. They were driven forward by Kratos, the mortal who had become the new god of war.
And now you guys know why I put this as the thumbnail. Right? But just seeing, like, Kratos go through all that, man. Learning and seeing for myself why, you know, he became the God of War, he became who he is, and also seeing him in Ragnarok and how he is there, you know, in comparison to the OG God of War games. I hated so much is Ares or Kratos the God of War. Okay, Ares was the original God of War in this series, but since he kind of went mad and he kind of went a little crazy with all the wars that he's been through, etc., etc., his methods were way too brutal for the gods. That, you know, he was doing shit that the gods didn't want, so they wanted like Kratos to kind of like stop him. But also, Kratos had his own morals to stopping Ares. For example, Ares was the whole reason he got the power of the Blades of Chaos in the first place, attached to his hands. He's also the whole reason why Kratos slaughtered his own family, because he slaughtered his own family in a pit of rage and had no idea they were in the said village, because Ares put them there. And because of that, because Kratos slaughtered them, you know, the lady right outside the house put the fucking... the shit. Kratos is a demigod, right? Yes, Kratos is a demigod, yes. But, or just part god, because Zeus is his actual dad, but we don't know that until, like, later on. But anyways, as I was saying, Kratos wanted to kill Ares because everything Ares did to him. Not because the gods were telling him to, but mainly because, you know, the promise of the gods, but also because he wanted to kill Ares because Ares technically made him kill his family. So, and also, you know, to rid the memories of those events and everything. That's why Kratos was also really wanting to do everything that he did. But the memories could never go away, as Kratos figured out at the end game. And the gods promised him a place, you know, be with them, but they never promised to get rid of the memories because no one would get, you know what I mean, after everything Kratos did, it makes sense. But anyways, that's my experience on God of War 1. I loved so much of this game. Like, I liked so many moments, but I also hated so many moments of this. And I felt like my moments I hated kind of outweighed the good. But there were so many moments where I was just playing, having a good time, but then it's kind of ruined by bits that weren't that good. I don't know, I'm very mixed on my experience with God of War 1, but I'm not going to be out here saying God of War 1 is a shit video game, because in reality, God of War 1 is actually a phenomenal video game. If it was a shit video game, it would not have gotten a sequel and then started a whole fucking series, okay? If it was a shit video game, you know, it would have just died off. But I'm telling y'all, if you haven't played God of War 1, give this game a try. Like I said, this game hasn't aged. This game has aged better than most PS2 games, but there are still some shit that I would say have aged, like the Path of Hades. That bit is kind of aged kind of bad, horribly a little bit, because it's not really all that good of a section to play. Some of the puzzles are kind of like hit or miss. And again, like I said, give this game a try anyway. This game is good. I recommend it. Even if I had a very strong love and hate relationship with this game, I still feel like God of War 1, in my honest opinion, is a good enough game for people to try out. If you don't like it, that's fine. I understand why you wouldn't like it, because I hated it a lot of times. And if you love this game, I can definitely understand why you love God of War 1. That's it, guys. I spent over an hour something talking about this game, and I kind of wanted to get this one as quick out there as quick as possible, because I just wanted to talk about God of War for a long time again. That shows you how strong demigods are, since Zeus said a demigod is stronger than a god. And I haven't played God of War before, and I'm going to play it. I recommend it. I definitely recommend you play God of War 1. Great game. Again, a lot of segments that aren't great, but if you can power through those horrible segments, I'm telling you, this game will reward you with amazing cutscenes, amazing graphics, amazing gameplay, etc., etc. But also keep in mind, this is the first God of War game, so things are going to be improved if you play God of War 2, and obviously God of War 3, and then maybe the PSP games, Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. So keep that in mind. This is God of War 1, so there's some things that are not as good as things that were probably going to be better in God of War 2. So keep that in mind when you play God of War 1. So don't be too harsh on God of War 1. You can be harsh, but don't be too harsh, because it's like only the first game in the series. And you guys know, first game of the series syndrome definitely happens to a lot of games. And I would say even this game has some moments of first game syndrome. But not to like a fucking crazy omega extent, you know. Maybe some of the powers, but other than that, that's everything I gotta say. Guess what? I don't know what that means, Kitty's Playhouse. I have no idea what that means. But yeah, that shows Kratos even in God of War 1 was fucking powerful. He was kind of OD in God of War 1, man. Crazy. I might have the power scale Kratos sometime in the future if I get into more of his feats, if I get more into what he does. But anyways, oh god.
Like, comment, and subscribe for more God of War content from Arekkusu TM. Goodbye! Oh, also, wait, one more time. Alan, you better play God of War 2 very soon. Otherwise, I'm coming for your head!
Okay, Kratos. Okay, bro. Okay. I better play God of War 2 before Kratos comes after me.
You're damn right, buddy!